Hello and welcome back. My name is Lauren Heistad, author to the book Homecoming, and we've been working our way through chapter by chapter here. We will return today on chapter 9, Amazing Grace. Are you ready? Okay. Somewhere along the way, the song Amazing Grace has become the melody of my soul. The lyrics uplift me, connect me to spirit, and bring me peace. The song speaks of surrendering to grace or spirit. It is about finding your way along the path of enlightenment, standing in your own true power with unwavering faith. It's a tricky thing. Unwavering faith. So the first time I truly connected to this song was during a rough patch in my spiritual life. It was early on It was early on in my mystical endeavors, and I was looking for answers. I knew I was connecting with spirit, but was still struggling insanely to understand my abilities. My confusions, I still haven't cut my hair. Bear with me. My confusions and frustrations were at an all-time high on the day I finally thought to ask my guides for support. I spoke up and pleaded, saying I knew full well they were there, and to please help guide me down the right path. I admitted to the confusions felt when my spiritual experiences were different than the teachings of my upbringing. I asked why I saw the world so differently than so many others around me. I asked for more traditional teaching or a religious reference to help bridge that gap. It was a wide one. Help me bridge the gap between the two points of view. Something to validate my experiences. And then the words just started to flow. Amazing grace. How sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. The song Amazing Grace was dearly loved by my grandparents, sang in church for generations, and is well known throughout the world, and yet I had not thought about it in years. Gently sung by a choir of angels, the lyrics were used to confirm my experiences and validate my connection to the spirit world. I was no longer blind to the light and grace within myself. Different view for sure. I was no longer blind to the light and grace within myself. I was clearly seeing the connection we all have with the divine. And then the song continued. 'Twas grace that taught me... No, that's not even the words. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. Now this song is also about letting go of fears and trusting in the protective hands of the Almighty. So not only was I being asked to see the potential in myself, I was being asked to let go of my fears and move forward with my life path. Ooh, that's tricky. I hear let go of fears and I just want to hold on tight, man. Anyways, I was being asked to let go of my fears and to move forward with my life path. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Tis grace that brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. Grace will lead me home. The last chorus I heard that day reminded me how far I had already come, how much I had already accomplished in life, lessons I have learned and hurdles I have climbed. And yes, grace would continue to lead me down the right path. I had asked for validation of my experiences and confirmation to move forward, and I certainly received the answers to my prayers. I just never expected them to be sung. That was my first experience with the song Amazing Grace, but it has certainly not been the last. Not even close. Whenever I'm having an off day, I hear the choir of angels healing my emotional wounds and their angelic song. Oftentimes I'll sing along. My voice is certainly not angelic, not in the least, but they do seem not to mind. I like to sing in harmony with the angels and let our souls blend through the beat of music. And I'm not the first one to discover the benefits of music to the body, mind, and soul. Music has always held inspirational status for many. It has been used since the beginning of time and echoes the reflection of the soul. Sound therapy is also becoming way more prevalent as society moves towards embracing alternative health options. I myself utilize some sound vibrations for my personal development and also have used it to help increase the strength and intentions of healing sessions. Singing is one of the best ways I have found to connect and open the door to the spirit world, and Amazing Grace is my magical key. At one point, while studying healing at a spiritual college abroad, this song would also prove beneficial to others. It was during an experimental evening, and we were trying to contact spirit during a good old-fashioned table tipping. Table tipping. For those unfamiliar with this term, it is when a group of people gathers for the purpose of contacting spirit and receiving communication via a table. Ooh. The table is kind of like a very large pendulum or Ouija board. Don't let me lose you there. Just keep listening. The participants ask spirit questions and spirit answers by moving the table. The table used in this particular instance was tall and skinny, more like a stool really. However, it was certainly big enough to ensure I was skeptical over the entire undertaking. Yes, I had played with pendulums and other communication tools in the past with great success, but a table? That was certainly a new experience. My ego even reminded me of hoaxes I had heard involving spirit seekers who would use tricks to move tables and claim the presence of spirit. Despite my skepticism, I was determined to enter the evening with an open mind and heart, as we all need to learn to do. The group started by forming a circle around the table. The plan was to inspire a spirit to move the table and establish what a yes and no response looked like, and then start asking questions. We were all very excited and started the evening with great anticipation. Our circle was formed, and we started the process by raising our vibration of the room in an effort to make it easier for spirit to connect. Originally, this was done through listening to music as we swayed back and forth in our chairs, staring at the table, with excitement. 15 minutes passed to still no movement. Perhaps Spirit did not like our choice of music. Another song selection was decided upon, and once again the room sat eagerly on standby, waiting for our first visit from the spirit world. And once again, there was no movement to the table. Then the group moved on and began to formulate Plan B. Plan B was to send energy to the table. After all, we were a group of healers. Everyone began to concentrate and send the table. We sent the table as much energy as we could muster. Time moved on, the table did not. All the while this was going on, I was having a silent conversation with my deceased Grandma Annie. I teased her to come through and move the table for the group, and her response was simple. Sing Amazing Grace, the way you do when you think no one is listening, and I will move the table for you. On to Plan C. The group would sing. I had not mentioned my conversation with Grandma, but the idea to sing had surfaced among the group anyways. Don't you just love synchronicities? We all agreed this was a wonderful idea. Singing was very inspirational and would surely raise the vibration of the room. For another 15 minutes, the group sang many familiar tunes, actually, but unfortunately most of our selections were nursery rhymes, and this was simply to ensure the large group of participants representing countries from all over the world knew the lyrics. And I must admit, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star and other childhood tunes did absolutely nothing to lift my spirit and ensure my energy was flowing, let alone the energy of spirit. By now, 45 minutes had passed, and the group was losing all hope. And again, I heard my Grandma Annie coaxing me to sing Amazing Grace. And I certainly did trust Grandma would follow through with moving the table if I sang. But unfortunately, I'm kind of shy in front of groups, believe it or not. And my singing, definitely a weakness. The only thing I could muster was to ask the man standing next to me to sing Amazing Grace. If he started, I promised to follow. He agreed, and we vowed to sing the song going... what did we vow? Just a minute here. He agreed, and we vowed to get the song going, at our next opportunity. Yep. It took another few songs to pass before we had our chance. However, when we finally did start singing Amazing Grace, it only took the very first line. The very first line of the song to start the table rocking back and forth. In fact, that table made its way clear across the circle and stopped right in front of me. I kid you not. The table actually moved and made a beeline straight for me as it inched its way across the room. I skipped a line there. Its movements mimicked someone shuffling the table side by side as it inched its way across the room straight to me. Yes, even in the spirit world, I could still depend on my wonderful Grandma Annie. The group was elated and found it very difficult to contain our excitement. We quickly established the yes and no movements of the table. Yes was a forward movement. Back and forth. Sorry, I'm getting so excited. I'm forgetting to read what my book actually says on the occurrence. Okay, so we quickly established what a yes and no movements of the table. Yes was shown as a forward and backward swaying motion, where no was more like side to side. Both motions were very easy to identify and ironically represented someone nodding and shaking their head. It was absolutely incredible. Once this was established, I started to ask my grandma questions, and she was very quick to respond. The entire room sat speechless as we watched in awe. The table rocked from side to side in immediate response to my inquiries. It's a page turner, isn't it? Once my turn was complete, we sang again to conjure up another spirit, and the table would move around the circle to the next lucky participant whose family member was coming through from the spirit world. Most questions were asked. More responses were received as the table continued to rock the room. We continued on in this manner for over 2 hours, as different spirits were welcomed into the circle and given the opportunity to speak to a loved one. It was such an incredible experience. My grandma and I secretly giggled all night over how we sang that table to life. Ironically, the group tried many other songs throughout the evening to keep the vibration up and the table responding. Amazingly, Amazing Grace was the only song able to keep the energy flowing and spirit communicating. We must have sung Amazing Grace 50 times that night, making the group incredibly tired of the music selection by the end of the evening. Everyone except my Grandma Annie and I, of course, who were still merrily humming together to our favorite tune. It truly was an amazing grace. Okay, activating your SOULworks. There are many ways to connect to the spirit world, but song is certainly one of the most effective. Songs lift our spirits, open our heart, and effectively increase our vibration to connect with the spirit world. Thanks to my Grandma Annie, I have witnessed the ability of song to even move a table and connect with spirit. I have no doubt, with enough hearts and positive intentions, song is powerful enough to bring heaven on earth. But let's just begin by creating a stir within your soul. There are a multitude of inspirational songs available and a plethora of new ones being created every day. Magical collections of sound have blessed our souls since the beginning of time. It is easy to identify an inspirational song capable of elevating your connection to spirit. The lyrics will be thought-provoking, and the musical interludes breathtaking. Just listening to the sound vibrations of a song will stir your inner light and leave you pondering the sheer awe and magnitude of its beauty. We all have different tastes, for sure, of inspirational music, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing. Our unique personal preferences truly make our world a beautiful place. There are many types of music out there, and all contain inspiration and glory within the notes. Personally, I have always primarily been a country music fan, actually, and have quite honestly always stayed away from traditional hymns. Definitely. That being said, Amazing Grace is definitely my power song. The lyrics were angelically delivered at the absolute most perfect time in my life as a reminder of our grace within. Without an open mind, I would have quickly dismissed this magical key that has expanded my connection to spirit. Your move. Find your power song. Let your heart find the beat of your soul. Listen to a wide array of music and determine what selection truly makes your heart sing and brings you closer to God, whatever that means to you. Always keep an open mind and ear to discover your signature song. In finding your unique soul groove, you will amplify your relationship with the divine. Continue to use your power song anytime you want to shift your energy, lift your spirit, or start a conversation with your angelic team. Next, ask your spirit to communicate through song. Ask spirit or your spirit. Same thing. Are you pondering the direction of your life or seeking guidance from above? You do not have to focus on the... Yes, you do not have to focus on your power song to receive an answer from spirit. Simply look to your spirit guides while randomly listening to music. When a song selection truly speaks to your heart, you will know you have found your answer. Take the time to review the lyrics and then discover the hidden messages within. Play with music. You do not have to be the next Beethoven or Jimi Hendrix to reap the benefits of creating your own music. There are many simple instruments available that you could be using to commune with spirit and optimize your health. I myself utilize a bison skin drum similar to what our native ancestors utilized. Drums, rattles, singing bowls, or a classic tambourine are simple tools that have been used since the beginning of time to heal the sick and help attain an altered state. It is within these altered states, when our ego has moved to the side, that we are able to communicate with spirit. Get creative with music. Playing an instrument is a tribute to the heavens and a very effective way to raising your own vibration. Listen. Spirit will speak to you in all sorts of ways. If you have a song constantly playing through your mind, take a closer look at the lyrics. Perhaps your higher self is trying to get a message across. If you coincidentally overhear a special song on the radio at just the right moment, never doubt for 1 minute your spirit guides are demonstrating their presence in your life. If there's a specific bird continuously singing outside your window in the wee hours of the morning, instead of getting frustrated by the encounter, take a moment to consider the meaning behind the melody. And lastly, sing with all your heart and soul. If you are confident enough to progress from listening to actually singing an inspired song, the results will be pure bliss as you ultimately convene with the divine. Take this experience one step further and bravely sing from your heart in harmony, or not. In my case, not always in harmony, but with a group of people within a chapel or an acoustically pleasing space. The energy will be electrifying as the beat surges and pulses through your very being. The experience will undoubtedly confirm that a blessed interaction with the spirit world has taken place, and that you... lost my place here. And that your own spirit is shining brightly. Right. Once the music stops, continue to listen with your inner ear. The choir of angels will be audible as they gracefully continue to harmonize, sending love and joy through the power of song. Thank you for meeting me yet again on a journey of my own soul works. I hope you are taking the opportunity to fully love and enjoy your own. Blessings.